All right. Wow, that was fantastic. Thank you so much, Savannah. Thank you to all of our speakers. If you have a question that you've written on your cue card, hold it up so that our staff can start collecting those, whether that be Clyde or Kristen. I know they're somewhere in this room. I see them. They'll be coming by. Wave it. Also, Kelly's picking up questions. And then if our speakers could come back to the stage so we can answer those questions. Also, so I'll feel less alone up here with people staring at me.
Thank you so much.
All right, questions? Okay. This is a great first question. We probably don't have time for everyone to answer, but like just take turns and you guys know each other, so we're cool. So the first question is, what do you do if you live with someone who will not seek help? Who wants to take that one? Up to the mic. Not everybody wants.
It's kind of hard because until a person desires themselves to want to, you can make them. The probation officer can make them, the policeman can make them, but until they're ready, there's really nothing you can do.
It is absolutely impossible to argue with mental illness. You will beat your head against a wall until your brain is a bloody pulp. Okay? So what do I suggest? Number one, you need to protect yourself. Go to a support group for families so that you can talk to other family members who are exactly where you are. And number two, strict and clear consequences. If you are mentally ill and you are smoking marijuana in my house, I don't approve of that. And I'm going to send you to X number, the Jesus house. But the number one thing that I want you to hear from me is you cannot argue with crazy, and please do what you need to do to protect yourself.
This question is for Jessica. Why did you get off the medication when it was apparent it was helping? We hear that so often about individuals with who have a mental health disorder. Like, so what was the driving factor that helped you make that decision, since we heard such a range of opinions tonight?
Well, honestly, whenever I had that 20 days off of my medication, it was, as I had stated, it was kind of due to some of my old patterns in behavior and thinking. To be perfectly blunt with it, I got a sanction in my program and I had to go to jail for 10 days. And when I got out, I missed my appointment to go and get my refill. So that was, as soon as I could get back in, I got back on them. So I didn't really go off of it by choice, unless you say like my prior choices caused it. So.
May I make a comment on that?
Sure, yeah.
The data shows that bipolars in particular, as well as people with schizophrenia, are very prone to this. Now, in the case of bipolar, it's an episodic type of an illness. It tends to come back on you in cycles. And that varies from bipolar to bipolar. But for some bipolars, they can really get some reprieve periods, and they're really feeling good. So it just doesn't make sense in your mind to take meds when you feel good.
Okay, this is for everybody, so just jump in. What would you want from the state of Oklahoma to help better meet the needs of Oklahomans living with mental illness and substance abuse disorders?
I think if you read Jacqueline's article, one of the big things that I get out of that is that we need community mental health treatment centers that don't just treat the chronically ill, that treat people before they get into an episode, before they become psychotic. Augusta made a point of treating somebody who is actively psychotic for their physical ailment, but not their mental ailment. The brain is a physical part of our body. It is a realistic part of our body, and it's something that we need to take care of. I have a severe disdain for treating the brain differently. A lot of times when we have mental illnesses, we refer to ourselves as schizophrenic. I am schizophrenic. I am bipolar, instead of, I'm a person with. It's been said on the stage before. We don't call ourselves lupus. We don't call ourselves a cancer. We don't call ourselves a tumor. We own it for whatever reason, because of stigma based on community involvement, based on personal involvement. We own it. We shouldn't own it because it's a part of us, just like my hair color is a part of us. So it's a part of us, not the entirety of us, and we need to treat it as a piece of the person, not the entirety of the person.
The only thing I would add to that is that we need to stop treating the mentally ill as criminals. We need to treat them as sick people. You'd never take a diabetic to jail now, would you?
This question is similar to one that we already had, but in case any other thoughts came up. When a person is in crisis and rejects family, how does one break through the wall?
The best thing that I could recommend is just, with the exercise we had done just a moment ago, just go ahead and make sure that they know that you're there for them. And you can basically tell them, look, I see that you're going through something. I don't know if you want to talk to me about it or not, but just know that I'm here for you, and just make sure that they know that, and continue to tell them that until they get tired of hearing you tell them that, and then they'll finally probably go ahead and tell you. That's from my experience.
I know I'm answering a lot of these questions. I'm going to be a mic hog. So mental illness is extremely isolating, and it's very emotionally painful. So if you're dealing with somebody who's in that crisis stage, I would say you must be experiencing some serious internal conflict and some pain. Do you want to talk about it? And see where that goes, because from my experience, being sick is very painful. So that's what I got to say.
Yeah, I would just add to this that, if you're a friend or family member and you're concerned about someone, I would say, I'm going to plug our partners again, Mental Health Association, NAMI, and Heartline. They're all have a variety of different things that you can call the hotline and say, I'm very, very concerned about my loved one. I have no idea what to do. And they will help talk. You don't have to be the person in crisis. They will help coach you and give you some advice and encouragement for yourself. We've also heard a lot about self-care before caring for others. So that's true if you are a friend or family member of someone who's in crisis. You have to be able to take care of yourself. And so joining a NAMI support group or joining in with some of the Mental Health Association groups that can help give you some guidance about what you're actively going through would be helpful.
And I'll just add to that if you can't remember the suicide prevention lifeline, you can just call 211, right? Yeah, anywhere you are. So in Oklahoma. Any other questions? Oh, yes, excellent. Oh, one right there. These are all pretty long questions, so I'm just gonna ask a question myself and read through them. You guys have mentioned self-care. For people who are not familiar with that term, what are some things that can mean doing in your life?
Eating well, healthy food, exercise, taking out time when you're in crisis and you don't even sleep well. People need to get a good night's sleep. Talk to your family members or friends, but take care of yourself and make sure that you're exercising. I mean, even if it's just taking for a walk or loving your pets. We love animals. We love on something that can love us back, and it's unconditional.
The only thing I'd like to add to that is, since I have PTSD, I have to watch what I watch on TV. I have to watch what I'm exposed to. I can't traumatize myself by watching stuff that's traumatic.
Yeah, pretty much in line with that. I've had to discover what triggers things with me. A part of my experience with bipolar is a low threshold for irritability, agitation. Things can really set me off. Kerosene to my match lit becomes a fire that not only burns my house down, but yours and the entire neighborhood. So in terms of self-monitoring, to the end that I might better self-manage, and learn how to self-stabilize is important daily work. So I wake up myself in the morning and say, Tim, today, pay attention. There are going to be activating events today. A lot of them are going to catch you by surprise. Begin to take note on those that are typical triggers for you and begin to reach into your coping skill bag and begin to apply some of that. Doesn't mean I do my day perfectly, but I do it more mindfully.
Okay, I'm going to address one question myself. I don't know the exact answer, but I have a little bit from my reporting. Someone asked, how are we going to expand Medicaid? For those of you who are not aware, Medicaid expansion is part of the Affordable Care Act. It's a key element. It basically takes this gap that we have in the state and expands Medicaid to where more low-income people, especially adults, can qualify for Medicaid. We have not made that choice in the state of Oklahoma. Some other states have. And so I was talking to Governor Fallon the other day, and I asked her this question, and she brought up that the state is considering using a waiver program. They're just looking at the options right now, because I asked her about sort of how are you going to address these low-income Oklahomans with mental illnesses and substance use disorders who need care, and the state agency is so overwhelmed. And she talked about this waiver program that they're considering. So that is a potential option. Other than that, we'll see what happens in the legislature. Another person asked, I've noticed some doctors are quick to give up medications without taking the time to correctly diagnose. It took 8 years for my brother to get his medications right. What do you say to someone who is weary of doctors who are pill happy and are weary of the years it may take to get medication right?
I experienced that. First of all, they gave me the diagnosis of major depression, and they treated me for that. And in treating me for that, they gave me the wrong medication, which almost, and I'm not going to use the name because I don't want to get anybody trigger happy and saying that medication doesn't work. It does work if it's diagnosed to the right person. But then I got very suicidal on that medication. So I just kept at it. And I kept going to different doctors until I found one that finally helped diagnose me correctly, because she watched me and observed me more than the other doctors did. And so just be patient. Be patient. And if you don't, it's like a potato chip. If you can't find the one you like, go to the next brand. Just keep and talk to people who have mental illness and see who their doctor is and see who they're happy with. Dr. Lee at Professional Corp Integris Baptist.
And I'm living successfully with schizophrenia. Antipsychotic medication makes you feel like poo-poo. Okay, I have much better words than poo-poo, but that's the one we're gonna use right now. Every antipsychotic medication I have ever been on, and I've been on several, they all make you feel like poo-poo. So what I would tell to somebody is keep a conversation with your doctor. I was on one antipsychotic medication that felt like I had run a marathon every day. My leg muscles were hurt. I had a constant backache, and I just went to the doctor and said, I'm not taking this anymore. We're going to change it. So what I would say about medication is advocate as much as you can for yourself. And if you are a caregiver, talk to that person. Ask them, how are you feeling? Are you lethargic? I see that you've been in bed a lot. Are you fatigued? Are you having any pain? But the biggest thing, psychiatrists are odd ducks. They want you in and out. And they will talk to you, but you got to talk to them first. So if you are a caregiver, ask, how are you feeling? Are you in pain? If you are the person on the medication, do not in any way, shape, or form feel that you can't tell the doctor, I'm not taking this. So that's my 2 cents.
Pharmaceutical companies are making a lot of money. Medications are different for each person. Each person's chemistry is different. There are side effects. And sometimes if you have a side effect, you say, this medicine, I don't want to take it. Mine took 3 years for my right combination. I started at a low dosage, because if you take a medicine that makes you a zombie or that makes you incapacitated, you don't want to take it anymore. But the medications does work. They do work. Talk to your doctor about side effects and how you feel, like she said, what's going on with you. And nobody knows you better than you know yourself. So when you'll feel strange, you might feel different, but you'll be able to tell someone different that I have a backache or my mouth is dry or whatever the symptoms might be, but do talk to someone about your side effects.
2 more questions, and we'll probably wrap everything up. This might be a good question for Savannah and some of the folks who've done nonprofit work. What can we do? How can we help a family member who wants help for mental illness and addiction but has no job, money, or insurance? Single male, 34 years old.
Thanks, person. No, this is the question, and it's really no trouble for us to answer this at all. We want to see you, and we want to help you. If you come to any one of our 14 community-based mental health centers, we will find a way. I work with some of the people who are just the best and the brightest, and every year our CMHCs are giving out as much care as they humanly possibly can. So keep calling until you can find assistance, and I'm like desperate for Mr. Tate to just come up here and answer this question instead. Yeah, you'll see him, right? Yeah, just go see Randy. He'll take care of you. No, but we're nervously laughing, but this is a real thing that I want you to know. If you need care, that's all we need to know. We will work with you and find a way. If it's not the first place that you walk in, we desperately really try to make sure that there are no wrong doors. I will say that I've even had personal family members that have had iffy experiences, maybe on their first try to get in somewhere. But if you stick with it, there are people at every location, at every place that really do want to get you the right care. And the right treatment. So come in, don't let ability to pay ever stop you from seeking help, and that's how I would answer that.
I work at a mental health facility, and the Department of Mental Health pays for a lot. I work for the indigent. A lot of people that come in don't have jobs, don't have money, don't have income, and we provide for them. But I don't want to say their names because I don't want them mad at me. So talk to me later.
And I'll just add real quick, I know Mental Health Association Oklahoma has a program called Sunbridge, I think. Gail, yell if I'm wrong. And that is some counselors who've signed up to do pro bono work. They're in the back of the room, and you're welcome to go talk to them after this. Our last question will be, what are some encouraging words for someone currently fighting addiction who doesn't feel like there's hope? Thank you. Love, a grateful audience member.
There is hope. I started drinking when I was 7 years old, and I got sober when I was 18. I went to my first meeting when I was 18, or sought help when I don't want to break any traditions here because we are on press, radio, and films. So went to a recovery place, and for the first time when I was 18, and then I stuck with it. So there is hope, and I suffered with mental illness after I was sober. I got sober and suffered with white-knuckling my mental illness because I was told by some loving friends that medication would not be something I needed to seek out because I was an addictive personality disorder. And so for 17 years of recovery, I did not seek mental health help. So there is hope. I survived it. Just get help. Get to the closest place you can. If you're a veteran, go to VA, go to vet center. If you're in society, if you don't have insurance, go to one of these community-based help. Get help. There is hope. I'm still here.
I just kind of wanted to add what she was saying. Just there is never a point to which you can't come back from. I know that I personally, in my addiction, I mean, I was on drugs for well over 12 years. That's almost half my lifetime. And no matter how far down I got, no matter how hopeless I was, I can see now that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and that it is worth it. So just keep on trying and just talk to people, find help. You can go online and you can look up where there's different types of meetings. If you don't like 12 steps, they have other types. I mean, just keep looking and keep trying because there is help and it is worth it.
Mental illness, like I've said before, is very isolating. So what I would say is, I've experienced the depths of pain. My husband left, my job left, my credit went to you-know-what, and I was a financial advisor, so you know how important my credit was to me. But I've experienced the depth of pain, and today I'm happy. And because I'm happy today, I know, I appreciate where I've come from. So today, what I would say is, you know what, I want to experience all that life has for me. The pain, the joy, everything. So I want to encourage you to go ahead and get help now, but it's all a part of why we're here. Good and bad, you learn and get better every day. And if NAMI can be of assistance, I answer every single phone call that comes in. So please call us.
Yeah, I'll just take off my reporter hat for a second and put on my person one and say to whoever this card is, would you guys talk to the person who's wrote this card? See, they're all these nice people. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. All these people will talk to you. Not at the same time, because that would be intense. But feel free to grab them. The people in the back want to help. There's lots of people in this room who want to help you, whoever wrote this card, because like they said, there is hope. You guys have been doing kind of a golf clap tonight. Let's give a real, true round of applause with some whooping to these people. Oh, yes, yes. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Augusta. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Mardell. And thank you, Savannah. You guys, there's tables in the back with nonprofits. Please support District House. They were so kind to give us this space. Buy some coffee, decaf if you're going to bed soon. Buy some snacks. The cookies are good. I had one before.
The Reuben is good.
The Reuben is good. It's been approved. So please support District House. And if you have any questions, let us know. And like I said, our partner organizations are in the back. And we just appreciate it. Oh, and also, if you want a copy of the story I wrote, we have several, and we'll be passing those out as you leave. So thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you.